I'm combining two questions. One is, what would you do to revive the finances of Roselle Park, coupled with taxes, taxes, taxes? What are your thoughts about keeping spending in line? So would you please discuss finances and taxes as they refer to the town? The order is Mr. Rubilla, Mr. Miranda, Mr. Fonte, and Ms. Chanhorning.
One thing we know is that taxes are never going to go away. I think that in the last year, the municipal portion of the tax rate has gone up minimally. It's been higher in other years, but I want everybody to know that when they get their tax bill, there's a pie chart that depicts that the Board of Education is responsible for 50% of the taxes. Borough Council's job is 30%, and the county represents 20%. We've just poured in $1.2 million worth of surplus to deplete the tax burden, and I say this with bipartisan support, and Larry DiNardo, our Democrat on council, we all voted for the package. It's lean. You can't cut PBA salaries, you can't cut DPW salaries, you can't cut clerical. All you can do is cut your operating expenses, and we've done that, and we've frozen them. So we went up to a minimum level, and I think we're trying the best that we can be to keep taxes in line in Roselle Park, because that's the #1 sore issue with folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Miranda.
Well, I strongly believe that redevelopment is a good way to go, to increase our ratables. I strongly believe for Roselle Park Civil Life Detachment, we must focus on the future. I'm not, I don't have the privilege to be in the budget meetings or not like that, but I can't speak for the past, but if elected, I plan to speak for the future of the community and the taxes that are involved.
Thank you. Mr. Fonte?
Thank you. This is obviously a tough issue here in town, and basically I would agree with my opponent there. We definitely need to bring in new forms of ratables for this town to help offset some of the costs that we're facing. And such thing as the cell tower that was brought in a few years back by the Democratic councilman at the time. But I'm a big believer in, before you have the house, you got to build the foundation. We need to get back to basics. Before we can begin to face the big problems that plague this borough, we have to address the small ones. Some of you may remember back in 2005, I looked at the audit from the end of '04, and there were some simple tasks in there that they recommended, and it was starred, and it said, that this was a prior year recommendation. Well, lo and behold, I look at the 2006 audit, and what are some of the recommendations? The simple task of balancing the department bank account and maintaining an accurate record of all cash receipts that need to be followed. I'm sure, as all of you here in the audience and you watching at home know, when you have a bank account, you balance it. So absolutely, we need to start looking at different forms of ratables to bring in, but you start with the basics first. And as far as redevelopment goes, they've been having their chance. They've been in charge for quite a few years now, and we've basically seen nothing from it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chanhorning.
Well, if there's anyone who knows anything about managing a tough financial situation, it's someone like me who's been through college and graduate school, living on a very limited budget for years, and then and now having a family, raising 2 kids. Anyone who's got a family like this knows how hard it can be to weigh all of a family's needs and wants, and then trying to make it all happen, but knowing that some things are going to have to go. Obviously, our borough faces tough times. Each year, less and less state money is available to us, and the governor's already made clear that things are going to keep getting tighter at the state level, so we're going to have to keep fighting harder to get every penny from the state. Like everybody else, I agree that we need to take a serious look at redevelopment in Roselle Park, something that hasn't really been taken seriously, I think, over the last few years. Anyone with a sense of optimism about this is kind of foolish, in my opinion. We've had way too much reliance on the local taxpayer, and this has got to change. So, So for example, take a look at places like Garwood and how quickly they've put up restaurants and retail and things like that all along North and South Avenues. It's the same road as Westfield Avenue, just a couple of miles away. Why are they able to do this and we're still sitting there with all these empty storefronts? So yeah, Westfield and Cranford, all of these places have managed to bring in retail. What are we doing? I have a friend in Cranford who's got a bigger house than us, bigger piece of property, and their taxes are less than ours. So I think we really need to consider serious development. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.